I would like to preface first that this is not about selling you our product. You can apply all of these same principles that I'll show you just with a couple of rolled up towels, even just on flat ground. It's completely fine. The one benefit that I will sort of preach on is having a domed surface like this to stand on can really help undo some of the effects of the squished toes that we get from modern footwear. Just by putting your foot and balancing on something like that, it helps splay out the toes and the metatarsals, which can be very helpful for any kind of forefoot issue, especially like neuromas, etc. As long as you are doing that in a way that isn't flaring that up by putting too much pressure on it. So all that being said, the principles of balance training are the same. And if you think about balance, it's really just maintaining our center of mass over our base of support. So to challenge our balance, we can narrow our base of support, and then we can go through a process of narrowing it further while also challenging our visual systems and our vestibular systems, which are work together with everything in our feet and the rest of our body to maintain our balance. So we'll maybe give us what are your names? Ray and Julie. So Julie, I'll get you over here, and eventually we can end up playing a little game actually. But this little thing is a cork roller. You might have a rolling pin in your drawer at home. So same principle is just rolling out the bottom of the foot. I can't stress enough how important it is to do that, and most people avoid it because it can be quite tender. But if you gradually build up that ability to roll and put pressure through the foot, deep pressure, it's very, very good for the muscles and the joints within the foot, because that basically simulates or supplements the roots and rocks and logs that we don't really expose ourselves to mostly. And for demo purposes, I believe that a foot that's functioning naturally should be able to tolerate full body weight on any part of it in any kind of awkward position. So I would recommend trying that at home, even if you want to buy a new rolling pin, maybe a separate rolling pin, or if you get one of these from Ali. We'll leave some with Ali, and if you do want one of these, then you can get one from her. But from a balance training point of view, you can start in what we'd call narrow stance, which is going to be generally easy for most people, but the next progression would be a split stance. So if you can both stand 1 foot forward, 1 foot back, and the back heel will be lifted.
Oh gosh. Already.
So even just getting on these is a good start, because it's a small step up. And the beauty is it's very little risk, because it's just this high off the ground. If you can't quite stand there, then you just step off and it's fine. So you can use walls for assistance, but if you can now both, you'll end up looking each other in the eyes. Okay, and now I'll ask you to lift the heel of your back foot so that most of your weight goes onto the front foot. And now look up. So what we often do when we start to balance is look down at the ground, and there's a certain line. There we go. So there's a certain line of our gaze that makes it a little bit easier, about 45 degrees. And most people have been taught, if they're balancing, to look at a specific point and just stay there. But life doesn't happen just while you're looking at a specific point. There's lots of things going on. We need to move. A lot of falls happen because you're walking along and someone calls your name, or you hear something and you look around, and that's a quick challenge to your vestibular system. So we need to have adaptability of the balance system. Okay, you're getting used to it now.
Don't say that.
So then, let's have a rest, and let's stand off, and then we'll go to
how it's worked your feet.
Yeah. So it's quite different if you were to just stand there like this, on flat ground, just try that now. You'll find it's a little bit of a challenge, but compared to the Solemate, it's not very challenging at all because of the dome shape. So we'll change, did I change which side was forward just now? I did for you, I think, but not. Lost track. Anyway, so let's balance it out by getting the other side going. And then I want you to just find your balance in this point, this excuse me, position. And then I'll just ask you to very slowly look up towards the ceiling. And lift the back heel, sorry. There we go. And then see if you can go further. Good. So we want to start challenging the balance system with head movements and different positions of our eyes, because that will contribute to a more adaptable balance system, and also asks a little bit more from the feet. So you both found your groove there. So then we'll step off again, and then what's really good to experience is the difference that a couple of centimeters can make. Okay, I'll ask you to step back on.
So they're closer together.
Yeah, they've just gone a couple of centimeters closer in behind. And most people are very impressed at how much of a difference that makes. And yeah, you can slowly look up.
This is really hard work. I think we'll remember this, I think.
And then and then you can see if you can bring your arms closer by your side. So that's a lot. Yeah. And then you could look over to the left. You turn your whole head one way or the other. And you'll feel your feet having to do more as you move your head. So it's really important that we sort of assess our own balance and we train our own balance in this very controlled environment here, where we're standing here and we look and we're like, wow, that really throws me off. It's better to find out early and to train that early than to be walking and you're stepping off a curb and moving your head and then you lose your balance. Because often, if you lose your balance, it can be too late. If you can regain your balance well, that's great. But if you don't regain your balance well, it can be often very unfortunate injuries. So just a process of gradually narrowing your base of support is the biggest thing, like the most important thing. And then so that couple of centimeters made it more challenging. Just for demonstration purposes, let's narrow it even further, and we'll just see where, I'm going to stand here with my arm. But just see if you can stand with the front foot first. That's going to be, yeah.
Do you always put the right foot forward?
Maybe hold my hand first. No, it doesn't, no, but not necessarily right foot forward, just either way.
Oh. Walking a tightrope. Wow. Oh gosh, yeah.
Impressive. So you're both doing very well to adjust
really
to that.
Good. Yeah.
If I then ask you to lift the back heel again, then we start to load the front foot. There we go. So just stepping up onto a Solemate or something like a rolled up towel, something like that, and then learning to step off and experiencing your balance system under challenge as much as possible daily, preferably. And then you'll notice how quickly you get better if you stay in what we call this Goldilocks zone. So if I'm just standing here, it's not really challenging my balance, although I am balancing. Standing here like this is very boring for me. Not because it's fun because I'm here with you all. Just standing, if I was like, okay, I'm training my balance, I'm not challenging it enough to be engaging. Both of you had to focus just now quite heavily to stay on there, and then you get this feedback of stepping off. It's very obvious that you've sort of lost your balance. So it's an engaging process. But for me, and not to show off, but if I stand here, then it's still probably not quite challenging enough to be really fun for me. So we
So what would you do then?
so then I would start juggling or something like that. So start doing something circusy.
That's lesson 2, is it?
Yeah.
We're not juggling.
No, but you could do. We could. So a Goldilocks zone is not too easy, not too hard. It sort of needs to be challenging enough that you're engaged. Too hard would be potentially overly frustrating, and you just be stepping off. That's not really going to help you improve. Too easy is not going to be enough of a stimulus. So finding that zone of, okay, I'm getting a lot of wobbles, I have to focus, and I'm stepping off occasionally, and that actually triggers a process in our nervous system that keeps it more plastic, which is just more adaptable. So you get better at learning the thing itself, and also better at learning other things. So if you think about a child, they're constantly activating their vestibular system, they're constantly balancing, they're very plastic. So that process actually happens at any age, and we can keep ourselves young just by challenging our balance. The other thing you can do is add in a little bit of a game. So if I was to play a game, it would be a different zone, because you were fully focused on just balancing there. I wouldn't be asking you to do much else beyond that. So it's good to just have some mindful time balancing at your end, sort of in that zone. But if I was to make a game out of it, then I would widen the stance, maybe even wider than we were before. Okay? Stand. Okay, and lift the back heel. So the reason we're lifting the back heel is so that we load the front foot, because eventually I would want the ability to stand on one leg. But this is this process of doing everything on 2 legs so that you're not, first of all, it's a bit easier, but second of all, in the case of like a back pain or any injury where loading one side is an issue, then you could do it in this way so that you're not overly loading one side. Okay, so I think we're actually going to have to push you back a little bit, Ray, sorry, just for this game. Maybe even further. Yeah. Okay, you're both looking pretty steady. Ray, can you throw that to Julie? Julie, can you catch? Yes, good. Okay, and back.
Sorry.
Good save.
We're not tempting though.
So Ray's been practicing.
Sorry, that was my throw.
I haven't been practicing throwing.
But you've been practicing, so I might even make that. Make that a touch more challenging for you.
So have you been doing this at home, Ray? Have you been?
Yes, I
Yeah.
have, but
You're
not,
trained
not
up.
with anyone else.
Not yet.
All
So,
the talk.
so now, just before you throw, call right or left,
Oh no.
and then you have to then try and catch it in your right or left hand.
I'm not very good at catching anyway, or throwing for that. Okay, right. Oh.
That's right, and then when this happens, again, it's that error mechanism in the brain. So you make an error and it goes, okay, I want to learn that better.
Yeah.
And then you just, the key is sort of just having another go.
Left.
Ooh.
Nice.
Left.
Nice. So nice
Right.
loopy throws. So
Sorry.
you should get it, yeah.
Before you.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Good save.
Look at that.
Left. Ooh, sorry. I told you I'm not very good at throwing.
Right.
And yeah, last thing.
Yeah.
Now, if you call right, then Ray catches it at left. And vice versa.
Right. Oh, sorry, that's me. Right. Right. Oh. good at cricket. I wouldn't. Right.
Oh,
Right.
Okay, cool. So we can have a rest there.
it's got to be so
Um,
good for your brain.
So that's like a simple little, you could call it a game. We do have other games as well, but depending on the level, like the more you play with it, the more capacity you would get to actually play games. But the simple premise is there that we're not just wanting to train balance just by standing still, we're wanting to train it by getting head movements in, eye movements, but more importantly, tasks like tracking a ball with your eyes and trying to catch it. And then in physio world, we'd call this a cognitive dual task. You're like, okay, a ball's been thrown, I need to track it with my eyes and my head while balancing, and I need to catch it in my right hand. And then the next layer, okay, now she said right, so now I have to catch it with my left. So it's trying to simulate the demands of real life in a controlled environment so that you can, first of all, understand more about your own balance system and where your weaknesses might be, and gives you a chance to make it better before real life demands it of you. And the process, as long as you stay within that Goldilocks zone, because you will get better. If you're challenging your balance daily, you will get better. It's just everyone will get better if they're challenging their balance.
Better even just those few times.
Even just in one session,
Yeah.
exactly. And so the nervous system is connecting all of this input that's going on from the feet, through the legs, through the trunk, through the inner ears, through the eyes. It's starting to connect that, and it'll talk to all of those areas and brain areas that are involved will talk to each other more efficiently the more you challenge it. And as long as you're then progressing how difficult it is, then you'll continue to progress. So it's possible at any age. I've worked with, even in residential aged care, when I was doing that, then we would be doing balance training with 80, 90-year-olds, and they would improve. It can be slower. But like I said at the start, I'm really passionate about the falls prevention side, because once someone has a fall, there's a cascade of effects that can make it a lot harder to get into this kind of training. First of all, people can get a fear of falling, and so balance training becomes less accessible because they're actually quite scared of falling even during the training. And also just if you have an injury and you have to spend time on bed rest or without moving as much as you usually would, then muscles get weaker, joints get stiffer, and the whole process becomes harder. So whether it's with our tools or with a couple of rolled up towels, then doing something daily, can be 5 or 10 minutes every day, can make a massive difference, and even more so than any other exercise program.
So a massive difference to what?
To your balance and to your ability to prevent falls, because if we were to test everyone's single leg balance here, the people who can balance for less than 10 seconds on either side are at much greater risk of falling, and actually at much greater risk of dying from any cause. That's not necessarily a causal link, as in being poor at balance doesn't mean it doesn't automatically make you more likely to have a heart attack, but it's a good indicator, similar to grip strength and walking speed. The stronger your grip is, the faster you walk, and the better your ability to get up and down off the ground. All are predictive of. They're all.
You do that
That's called the sit-and-rise test.
So easy.
And that's being studied, and it's a funny voodoo test, because if you can't, the more support you need from your hands, and the more you have to sort of do all this to get up off the ground, then technically the more risk you have of dying from any cause. And so it's not because, like I said, it's not actually a voodoo thing. It's really just because obviously that's related to falls risk. So your relationship with the ground has a strong link with your falls risk, but also that plus your balance, plus your grip strength, plus your walking speed are indicators of how much time you've spent moving in your life, how much physical activity you've done. And we know that physical inactivity is linked to every chronic disease, the biggest killers, including heart disease, cancer, strokes, all of these things are linked to physical inactivity. So it's not that you necessarily just have to get good at those tests, but doing things like balance training or like strength training over time can improve your overall health, not just your physical sort of risk of falls, but as a more direct thing, balance training is absolutely key to preventing falls.
Yoga's very good for balance training, isn't it?
Yoga? Yeah, it is good. I've never found a yogi who wasn't challenged on this though. So yogis practice balance on flat level ground, which is great. They're not used to balancing on something that's not flat and level, but yoga tends to be very static, and so that is more the pick a spot on the wall and hold a position.
Yeah.
And that's fine and a good place to start, but adding in different challenges, like I said, where your head has to move, your eye has to track things, is more related to the real life scenarios. Yeah.
It's pretty startling as well when everyone probably thinks that your balance is getting bad as you age, but the stats are really, really startling. The average that someone can stand on one leg with their eyes closed is 9 seconds, I believe, from research that was done.
Even for 18-year-olds.
Yeah, that was the bracket for the 9 seconds was the 20 to 29-year-old age bracket.
But having your eyes closed to eyes open makes a huge difference, though.
Absolutely. But still, the 20 to 29-year-olds can't stand on one leg for more than 9 seconds on average is pretty startling, I would
We're
argue.
not just dealing with the age population doing this, we're helping elite sporting teams get better at balance because that has a direct crossover to being better at their sport. So it's you don't think, oh, that won't happen to me, or I'll wait till that happens. Like improving your balance now is good.
I will say as well, naturally all our systems decline as we age, and there would be a point, it's just the natural process of aging, but a lot of people think that they lose their balance because they are getting older. But if you both, and if anyone here practiced their balance every day for the next 10 years, you would have better balance in 10 years than you have now, because you haven't been practicing your balance at all for the last however long. So it's like, well, I've gotten 10 years older, but my balance has gotten better because I've progressively challenged it. So, something is going to take us, so we're going to die from something. We really shouldn't see falls being one of the leading causes of injury-related death, as it is in today's society. It's just, it's really a byproduct of no challenge to balance in our modern environment. And it's great to have accessible environments, of course, handrails everywhere and chairs to sit in. But if we're not getting it from our lifestyle, we have to seek out challenges like this.
And we're given walkers and things.
Too.
So you're going to have this, and then you're never going to be able to stand up on your own if you're leaning against something.
And the more the earlier you start, the less likely you have to use those kinds of things.
Does that include walking poles?
Walking poles. I was asking Andy what he thought of walking poles. My bias is just towards reducing support where possible. I think there may be some benefits to walking poles. I think if your balance is really good, in terms of a falls prevention angle, then you probably shouldn't really need walking poles. Like I wouldn't feel the need to have a walking pole, but I understand there's other maybe performance benefits that you get outside of just a stability thing.
If it means you can do a walk that you couldn't do otherwise, then
So is it not true, this thing about it taking 30% of the weight off your knees and your hips that we've heard?
The knees and your hips are designed perfectly to not need 30% of the weight taken off them.
Yeah.
And you probably we're probably designed to carry something while we're walking for a long period of time. And so, that does work, but it doesn't mean it's the way you have to do it.
Yeah.
It's like, I guess...
It could be a tool, can't it?
Yes.
Like
it's a tool.
I teach
assess
Nordic
something.
walking that gets your arms swinging and you're standing upright, and so...
Yeah, I I think if you're using it as a tool to improve your performance or your experience in some way, that's something. But if you had to use walking poles to feel
Not to
safe,
lean on.
then that might be a sign that you need to work on your balance, as well.
Can I just ask one, it's a bit of a silly question, but socks.
Yeah.
So I've got barefoot shoes, but I haven't got the toe socks, and I have to admit it's a bit to do with sort of expense, is that you get through a lot of socks, and you know, a pair of shoes is going to last you, but if you just get lots of pairs of socks with toe socks, then that's quite expensive. But my feet are still going to be a bit clumped together in their socks. So is that? Tell me about socks. You know, is that?
Yeah, I would just invest in the toe socks. Yeah.
But just be warned, once you go to toe socks, it's very hard to go
You
back.
can't go
Yeah,
back.
it's the same as shoes.
It's the same with the shoes.
You might have seen toe spaces, and we sell toe spaces that are like one size fits all. You can wear them under your other socks, and that will help stretch your other socks out so that
Right.
they don't become so compressive.
Okay.
I think toe socks are a gentle toe separator as well. And the toe separators we sell are like this, and our foot shouldn't be like this all the time. It should be able to move like this, and so toe socks let you do that. So yeah, I think they're a useful tool, but just know that they're a bit addictive.
But that's a sign. I would never wear normal socks now.
Because they would still be compressive.
It's still
wouldn't they?
compressive, and it just doesn't feel as good. Like your toes get a bit sweaty. This just
Yeah.
they're far superior. Yeah.
So just small investments, just
Yeah.
a pair every now and then.
Yeah.
Great.
Very good.
Thanks everyone. So yeah, like I said, there's we'll have some of these with Ali, and so if you want one, and there's training programs and systems that go with them. Otherwise, our YouTube channel is a great resource for just learning how to do some of these without necessarily buying the products.
Wow. I think we can all agree this has been amazing, isn't it? So lucky to have received this.
Thanks for having us. This is a job.
Yeah, it's been
Yeah,
awesome.
that's
Thank you all for coming along and spending your afternoon with us.